Amazon is one of the largest companies on the planet. And despite the economic impact from the coronavirus, it's still doing really well. In 2017, Amazon celebrated its 20th anniversary of going IPO, or having an initial public offering on the stock market. Initially, it was trading at $1.50, and today, over 20 years later, it's trading at over $2,000. That's a 1,500% increase over a 20-year span of time. It makes investing in index funds seem abysmal. And I hear this very often. Man, if I just bought Amazon stock when it first came out, I would be a millionaire. Or if I invested in Apple when it was trading at 50 cents a share and is now over $200 a share. And we all know that hindsight is 20/20. Of course, looking back, it should have been obvious that this would have happened, or it's so difficult for us to tell. But let's say you didn't know that Amazon was going to be as successful as it is today, and I put you back in time with $10,000 and even invested it in Amazon stock. I don't think you'd actually become a millionaire. I don't think you could stomach to see the pain and losses from Amazon stock. Amazon stock has definitely gone up a tremendous amount, but it was a roller coaster ride. It initially was trading publicly at $1.50 and quickly went up to several dollars, $7, $9. And in 1999, it was trading at an all-time high of $97. But then 2 years later, in 2001, it tanked. It went down by 93% from its all-time high, trading at its lowest around $7 a share. Could you have handled that? Could you have handled a 93% decrease in price over a 2-year span of time? I don't know if you have the pain tolerance for something like that. Not only that, but it wouldn't get back to $97 or past $97 until 2009. Would you have sat on that stock for 10 years while it did nothing? While it just kind of went up and down, but never really breaking past that all-time high? I don't know if you have the pain endurance or the tolerance, the mental temperament to endure something like that. Now, if you could, then yes, absolutely. You'd be a millionaire. That $10,000 would turn into $15 million. Yeah, you could retire. You'd be so successful if you had that pain tolerance, if you could endure the frequency and the length of the ups and downs of monitoring Amazon stock. But that pain tolerance and the success that it could have brought you if you bought Amazon stock is not just a pain tolerance in investing, but a success of life. If you can endure the pain of whatever thing you're trying to achieve, then you'll be successful in it. And it's not just whether or not it's a painful thing, but it's the perception of pain. The perception of pain by the public. So let's take an example. Warren Buffett. Great investor, considered one of the best investors of our time. Warren Buffett spent most of his time reading. And he wasn't reading Harry Potter or some fiction. He was reading financial statements, things from the SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission. He was reading balance sheets of companies. He was looking at investment reports, quarterly reports. He was reading arguably boring, painful stuff. What's normally considered work for most investors. But Warren Buffett liked this stuff. He endured it. And as a result, in combination with some of the gifts that he was blessed with, things like a photographic memory, and the ability to see connections between different companies, he became a tremendously successful investor. I even think about some of my own experience doing Taekwondo. I endured so much pain through either grueling training regimes or just getting beat up. Could I survive a bout with another opponent? But every time I went through that pain and endured that pain, I endured the grueling workouts, I became much better and much better at Taekwondo. Similarly in chemistry, I studied long hours studying. In graduate school, I would spend hours, days in the lab just working, trying to complete my thesis. And now, I'm a PhD chemist who's making YouTube videos about finance and philosophy. But the point still remained. I had to endure some pain. The amount of a success people can achieve is in many ways proportional to the pain that you can endure. To move it even beyond that, it's not just enduring the pain, but making it somewhat effortless. Enjoying the pain. When you first go to the gym, and it's tough the first time you're going to the gym, just getting there, getting on a treadmill, lifting some weight, it's painful. You're not used to it. Your body's even sore the next day. But you know what? You go again, and slowly but surely, you kind of get used to it. It's no longer as painful. And not only does it not become painful, you actually enjoy it. You like going to the gym. In fact, you actually feel bad when you don't go to the gym. Diets can be incredibly boring, but if you can make the diet somewhat enjoyable and effortless, then you can stick to it and reap the rewards. There are many fields and subjects that start off maybe as fun. Maybe you play a sport and it's the first time you're playing the sport and the sport's fun. Or whether you want to achieve a higher level within investing or art or learning a new language. It starts off fun at first, but in order to really make progress, to make it something more meaningful, to really get good at it, you need to endure some pain. And sometimes pain in investing is actually losing money, which I don't recommend. I don't recommend that you try to lose money, but I will say I've learned some of my best lessons from losing money in the market. Those were the things that I learned and retained that information and have become a better investor as a result of that. In the previous video, I talked about what I consider to be the greatest investing advice I've ever heard, which comes from The Intelligent Investor from Benjamin Graham. Link to that video is in the description below. Within that video, I talk about the greatest investing advice I've ever heard. But in order to actually execute that advice, you need to develop some mental temperament. If you can endure the pain from hard times in investing, and we're going through a hard time right now. We are all suffering as a result of the coronavirus. This can be physically through illness, financially through the economic impact, and it can even be mentally through social isolation. But I think that during this time, we can work on our pain endurance. I think if we can get through this, if we can endure the pain of this terrible virus, we will come out of it better. A lot of people talk about getting back to normal. But someone mentioned something interesting, which is not to go back to normal, but to move forward. To not just revert back to our older selves, but to become a new, better version of ourselves. In reflecting on my investments and seeing how things have been tanking in the market, it's good to reflect on those pain points and how I'm ultimately becoming a better investor as a result of enduring this difficult time. And I think you will too. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like, comment, subscribe. It really helps me out. And I've said enough. I'll see you soon.